Hi, this is Phyllis Wilson with my Daily Moments. And my last video was on procrastination. So I mentioned in that about me making a list and planning out. And sometimes, well, majority of the time, my plan is the whole month, maybe even 2 months in advance of things I want to do on a daily basis. And I check them off as a go. And as I was thinking about that and ended that video, I thought about let me talk about action plans because they do help. They are helpful. Some people may not want to do a action plan per se, but maybe they journal. And journaling and action planning pretty much go hand in hand. Journaling is more wordy. Action plans are more of a checklist or to-do list. But they are helpful, whatever format that works for you. But it's better to plan than not plan at all. Because when you don't plan, things slip through the cracks, or you simply forget things, or you never make it on a list, or never make time to do the things that you want to do because you have not put it in your mind. And because we are visual people and visual learners do exist, but we're more visual people, we can talk till we're blue in the face, we can say things that we want to do, but once you put it in writing, that helps you become accountable to actually do it. So I would strongly suggest do an action plan. I mean, it doesn't have to be anything fancy because the only person that's going to see it is you. And your action plan is just a list of what you want to do. So, say for instance, you say you want to write a book. Okay, so the first step that you need to take is what are you writing your book on? So, your action plan could be this day or this month, I'm going to focus on what my book is really going to be about. Then the next day or the next week, even the next month if you want to stretch it out that long, but I suggest do at least a week, because then it's fresh in your mind. It'll stay in the forefront of what you're trying to do, and you'll actually accomplish it a lot sooner than probably the only deadline you give yourself, if you give yourself a deadline. But after so long, then you would look back and realize, wow, I have half a book written, or I have all of my ideas in place. I've done all the research on what it takes to get it published, or okay, now I'm reading the first two chapters to do some editing, or maybe you've turned the editing responsibility over to someone else. But it all comes in you doing an action plan of what steps you're going to take. So pretty much your action plan are your instructions. Like when you are trying a new recipe, you actually take action steps to go ahead and start working on creating that new dish. Or like anything else, when you're putting something together, you don't just take it out of the box and say, okay, this piece looks like it goes with this based on the picture. At some point, you look at the instructions. Even the most skilled person that it is that delivers and assembles things still at some point will have to refer back to instructions. Where your action plans and your journaling are your instructions. So if you don't give yourself any instructions, how do you know what to do? So I suggest definitely do an action plan. It's helpful. It's easy for you to use as a reference tool. It's easy for you to go back and alter if you need to. And then sometimes your action plan will allow time for you to even move the next step in advance. Or even to know, okay, well, I didn't get to this today. So now I have two things that I need to do that are in connection with the same one goal I want to reach. So if it's, I'm going to research how to do publishing on a book because I want to publish my book when I'm finished writing it, and you don't make the time or don't have the time to do it because other things in life happens to all of us. If that happens, then you can say the next day, okay, now I need to research publishing, and I also need to look at how do you get ISBN numbers. So in your research, you know that those are two things related to you publishing your book and knowing what to do once you're finished with the manuscript or finished putting together your book and your ideas for the book. Those two things, you know, are research tools that you need to do and research topics you need to do, so you can do them both on the same day if for by chance you don't get to it for the day that you scheduled in your action plan or your journal. So never beat ourselves up. Never beat yourself up because you don't finish something, because you can always add it to the next day. So whatever work you're doing on a specific thing that you're trying to accomplish, you can always double up. But doubling up is never fun either, because after a while you get overwhelmed, and then that will create procrastination if you become too overwhelmed. So you want to try to set enough time, an appropriate time, or the specific appropriate date for you to get something done. So what I personally do is when I worked in the downtown area and would have to do a commute through public transportation, I didn't just sit on the train or I didn't just sit on the bus. I worked on something from my action plan while I'm waiting to get to my destination. And then vice versa. In the evenings when I would be coming home doing the opposite commute from when I left that morning, I would then turn around and do the same thing. For me, one of the things that I do that's relaxing for me, that because of everything going on and all that I'm trying to get lined up and accomplished while we're in this quarantine and stay-at-home order, I have been working on so many other things and so many other projects that one of the things that relaxes me is crocheting, and I haven't been able to get to it. But guess what? Anytime I have the opportunity to, while I'm sitting and watching a movie, on the Sunday after I come from worship or get out of worship, and I worship at 3 different places, virtually I worship at 3 different places. So even while I'm doing that, when that's over with, after I know I'm at a state of mindset of calm and peace, then I start to actually crochet. And I've gotten some projects completed, so people will start to see some gifts coming to them because I'll be able to now box them up and ship them out. And I don't worry about making time for shipping because my son will just go ahead and ship everything for me. So I just need to get everything together so that they can be put in the boxes and get to the people that they need to get to. So if you are one of those lucky people that have asked me to make something for you and there's a package that comes for you, then you know that I've gotten to your project and I hope you enjoy it. But in the interim of everything that I've said, action plans do work. But they only work if you work them. And the first step to working them is actually create one. An action plan. If action plans are not enough detail for you, then start a journal and do it daily so that you know this is what I want to do in this day. Before I go to bed in the evenings, because I do mine a month in advance. So it's like, okay, I've done all my month of May activities of what I want to get accomplished in this month. So I just now have to check them off. But if you're one of those people that need to create your action plan or your journal for the next day, then do it in the evening before you go to bed. So then you already have fresh on your mind. What do I want to get accomplished on Tuesday? What do I want to get accomplished on Wednesday? You can do it every evening if you want to. And then also it helps you with your writing because you putting together an action plan or because you are journaling. Or you can do it weekly. And then on Sunday nights, plan out everything you want to do on your action plan or your journal for that entire week that you're about to start Monday morning. So at any rate, that's what I wanted to share about action plans. Hopefully, I've helped someone.